This is a toy wheelchair that belongs to my niece, and I'm showing it to you for a reason. First of all, I think this is a good idea. It goes to one of her dolls, and it helps teach children that, sorry, I thought I saw something. It does help teach children that they're disabled are people too. They used to make a Barbie doll in a wheelchair, but they quit making it for a lot of reasons. But I'm actually wanting to talk about the social justice warriors who are screaming and crying for disabled actors in movies. And although I do think it would be nice, but there are problems with it sometimes. And first of all, Hollywood has a long history of ridiculous movie storylines with disabled people who are sad, depressed, suicidal, and maybe this is one reason the disabled just don't want to do it. Most of us, us, I don't know if you can see that, I'm almost deaf, but most of us are not like that. It's a very negative depiction of us to think all we do is sit around the house and whine and cry, oh, and that's just not really who we are. The vast majority of us, we just go on with our lives the best we can. It's you people who think it's sad. I hear people say to their kids, wouldn't it be sad if you couldn't walk? No one wants it, I get that. But it's not like cancer, which kills you, or a heart attack. With today's technology, there's so much more the disabled can do. And in fact, I'll try to remember to leave a link. A British artist actually went to some mechanical engineers and they designed an underwater scuba diving wheelchair. It's awesome. So yes, many things can be done now for the disabled to have better lives, and that's great. But there's a few problems with getting an actual disabled actor. Number one, there's not that many disabled actors. I know you have Molly Matlin, who's deaf, and I really like her. You have Andrea Faye Friedman, who has Down syndrome, and I gotta say, I'm very disappointed in her during that episode of Law & Order SVU. And to the person who wrote that episode, shame on you. You've got in people's heads that the disabled cannot be parents without assistance. And if you think that, excuse my language, I'm gonna say it, you're a fucking idiot. I know people who are disabled and parents, and they don't get all this help from social services. They do just fine. The second thing, that's, some of you may not know this, but when actors do movies and TV shows, they have to get medical insurance, because actors have been injured making movies and TV shows. We all know about Brandon Lee, who unfortunately got killed because they accidentally shot him with live ammo. And some actors do their own stunts, which increases that insurance premium because that actor's more at risk. Martial arts actors such as Jason Statham have to have a little more insurance because they take more chances. So there's a number of reasons, you know, it's just harder to insure them. So the thing is that, you know, when disabled people get hurt, some of them require special care. So this is also going to jack up the premiums. And it may go over the budget for the movie that's permitted by the film company. So they set the budget. The directors and all them, they don't do that. The film company says, okay, you can do the movie, we'll give you this much money for it. Next is travel. Traveling with disabilities can be very difficult, and some cities just aren't handicap accessible, especially really old cities, which are mostly in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. Like the city of Venice, yes, Italy, for those of you who don't know, it's hardly wheelchair accessible. And it's not the fault of the people who live there now. It's a very old city. And, you know, it's just built the way it's built. You got the bridges, the canals, buildings close together, a lot of cobblestone. So if you're filming the movie in Venice, you know, that's a problem. And today, the vast majority of movies are filmed on location. Like, I live in Little Rock. If a story takes place here in Little Rock, most likely they're going to film it here. The actors are going to come to Little Rock to film the movie. And it is very difficult to travel if you are disabled. Not that it can't be done, it's just harder and it may be more expensive. Then you have to worry about accommodations. Now, sometimes the actors stay in hotels. And most hotels today are fully handicap accessible, so it's usually not too much of a problem. But sometimes they film movies out in the middle of nowhere, and so they'll stay in campers, RVs, whatever, tour buses and such. And yes, they do make these in wheelchair accessible. Again, they're more expensive and they're harder to insure because the auto insurance. And if that disabled person gets hurt, it's going to be harder and more time sensitive to get him or her to a hospital in many cases. Of course they'll send out a helicopter, but it's just sometimes not possible. And then last, many actors do their own stunts. And someone in a wheelchair, although someone probably could do some of the stunts, but of course they have a higher risk of being hurt. And then of course an insurance company's not going to want to participate in that. So yes, it would be nice to see some disabled actors in movies and TV. I would like to see it, but I can see why we don't push for it. When they tried to bring back Ironside, people were angry because they didn't get an actor who was actually disabled. Now me, I just would have chosen a different actor. Like maybe if they wanted a black man, Jesse L. Martin is a good actor. Alfonso Ribeiro, yeah, I know y'all know him for comedy, but a lot of comedy actors can be very good dramatic actors. The television series Lost, now this is another reason they don't always get disabled people. The television series Lost featured a character named John Locke. I was a big Lost fan, I still am. And his character, when you first see him, he's walking. Then you see the flashbacks of his life before, he's in a wheelchair. And then throughout the series, you would see sometimes he's in a wheelchair, sometimes he's walking, walk, wheelchair, wheelchair, walk, walk, walk. I mean, they couldn't get a disabled actor for that. It's just not possible. And one of my friends actually said, well, they could have gotten twins, because she saw a photo of these cute little twin girls. One's on a bicycle, one's in a motorized wheelchair. Yeah, there's a few twins like that out there, but not very many. Sometimes it's just not possible. And as a disabled woman myself, I can speak for that. And, of course, I would probably have a better chance if I wanted to be an actor than a person in a wheelchair, but nonetheless, they might be afraid I don't hear the director, especially if there's a lot of noise around me. See, Molly Matlin is deaf, so they can make accommodations for her, make sure the sign language interpreter is facing her, things like that. So it'd be easier for her than for someone like me who's just partially deaf, and I'm learning sign language, but I still don't have it down perfect yet. So I just wanted to give my opinion on this crazy, oh, you have to get a disabled actor, because, acting is all about pretending to be someone you're not. Johnny Depp's not really a pirate. John Wayne wasn't really a cowboy. Keanu Reeves isn't really a dangerous hitman. So, I can go on and on and on. So, I just wish people would get this and really think it through before they go bullying actors out of roles. My only problem is that, like I said before, they very widely misrepresent the disabled as just helpless, and we can't do things you can do. We can't be parents. We can't, just go out and see a movie like everybody else. It's just, that's my one problem with Hollywood and the disabled. They don't know what they're doing. So, I'll also leave a link if I can remember to, someone uploaded this old movie, Mac and Me, which this movie is awful. It is awful. I'll go ahead and warn you. It's an E.T. ripoff, but it did star a 10-year-old boy who really has spina bifida and is really in a wheelchair. Today he's an adult. It's a 1988 movie. He's an artist and a photographer with his own studio, is what I recently learned. His name's Jade Calgary, and he did a great job in the movie. It's just the movie itself is an E.T. knockoff, and it's not very good. I'll leave the link so you can take a look at it yourself, but be prepared for a really bad movie. It's all the big advertisement for McDonald's, some Coca-Cola. But if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, I don't care. But I'll leave it in the link. I'll try to remember, just in case you want to see it. So, I just wanted to give a disabled person's perspective on this, because many of you social justice warriors, you're not actually disabled. So, I think you need to shut up. And, I've already made a video about the other things, so I won't say it here. So, y'all take care, and if you want to watch a movie, watch it. If you don't, don't. And the only reason you should watch a movie is if you think it's a good movie. And the only reason you should boycott it is if you think it's a bad movie. Not because they didn't get a disabled actor. So, have a good one, and I'm going to go see the medic.